It was the 15th of Keithorn, around 1:30 in the afternoon, when they met in the dining hall of the Daggerford Inn. There was Husk, the armor-clad fighter of immense strength, Moxim, the half-elven, short and stout paladin who gets easily confused, REEEANNUUU, the well-spoken cleric who is a disciple of life, making him a powerful healer, and Rook, the skulking thief of noble background. They ate lunch and discussed how they would spend the rest of their day. As REEEANNUUU was talking about needing to purchase some parchment in town, they all noticed Sergeant Collins enter the dining hall and approach their table. He told them that Captain Miller is requesting their presence in her office immediately. When they arrived at Miller's office, the sergeant led them inside, where Miller was trying to calm down a group of merchants in the middle of a heated discussion. She told the team of adventurers that she was too busy to investigate a robbery at Wilhelm Blacksky's residence, and asked them to head over there and check out the situation on her behalf. The group agreed and were led to Blacksky's by Sergeant Collins. Upon entering the residence, they met Wilhelm, an elderly wizard who seemed very upset and was disappointed by the absence of the captain. After introductions, he decided to tell them about the robbery and why this was such a terrible situation for all. He said that when he returned to his house early that afternoon, he saw that his place had been trashed, and the only thing taken was a book that he only just purchased 2 days earlier. The guilt-laden man said that the book was called The Demonomicon of Slamrock, and that he had bought it without even realizing what it was. This book, he explained, could potentially open a portal to the abyss, letting demons or even archdemons into our realm. Things took an awkward turn when Moxim asked the old mage if he was currently on anything mind-altering which could affect his judgment. Wilhelm was highly offended, but luckily Rook stepped in and diffused the situation. After giving them a brief history of what he had learned from his research at the Crypt Garden Scrolls Library the previous night, the group split up. Husk and Rook investigated Blacksky's residence, while Moxim and REEEANNUUU planned on going to see Captain Miller and inform her of the situation. Both Husk and Rook noticed blade marks on all of the busted-up furniture. On closer examination, they also saw some sort of liquid within the blade grooves. Rook took a sample of the unknown residue to have it looked at later. He then examined the locks on the front door. There were 3 of them, and he struggled to pick 2 of them, and one of them was just impossible. Meanwhile, Moxim and REEEANNUUU were heading outside when REEEANNUUU noticed a woman watching them from the house next door. They approached her, and she explained that her name was Martha Higgins, and that she had seen one of the town guards leave Wilhelm's place around 11 that morning. She described what the guard looked like, and when it was explained to Sergeant Collins, he knew exactly who the guard was. The 4 adventurers were led by Sergeant Collins to the front gates of the town, where Louis Stephenstone, the guard whom Martha described, was currently working. When they arrived at the gates, Collins approached Stephenstone and immediately made him drop his weapon. The group questioned the young guard, his co-workers, and examined his sword. It didn't take long to determine that the guard had nothing to do with the robbery of Blacksky's. Obviously, the individual who stole the Demonomicon took on the appearance of this guard through some unknown means. They all decided that heading to the place where Wilhelm Blacksky said he purchased the tome was the next step in finding out who stole it, so they headed to the Fences Syndicate. This was a place described as being a black market shop where one can sell or purchase items that were considered illegal by the authorities. Sergeant Collins got them inside the small building and then stood back to let the others take over the questioning. Husk stood in the front doorway as the others interrogated Depson Fangblood about how he acquired the Demonomicon. On the other side of the shop, a half-elven woman with yellow eyes stared at the strangers skeptically. Depson would only say that he does not divulge the names of his customers and kept avoiding giving the answers that the adventurers wanted to hear. At this point, the adventurers were getting very annoyed, and that's when Rook made the subtle suggestion to Sergeant Collins that he should maybe step outside and leave them alone with Depson. The sergeant caught the hint and went to wait outside the front door. Once Collins was gone, the 4 adventurers started cranking up the pressure on Depson. At one point, Husk, who was getting extremely frustrated, started knocking breakable items off of shelves to try to get Depson to give them the information they desperately needed. When that didn't work, Rook decided to take a different approach. He lunged at Depson Fangblood with his adamantine dagger on loan from Husk and slashed at the shopkeeper. That was quickly followed by Moxim, who took out his heavy crossbow and shot at Depson as well. Both attacks did minimal damage as the experienced thief managed to dodge most of them. REEEANNUUU then cast Bless to aid his teammates in battle, and that's when the half-elven woman, who Depson referred to as Ellie, rushed towards Rook and thrust her short sword into his gut. Blood instantly began to pour out from the wound as Rook's unconscious body fell limply to the floor. Depson Fangblood immediately pulled Ellie back, put a stop to the battle, and allowed the others to attend to Rook, who was quickly fading away. After both Moxim and REEEANNUUU cast healing spells on Rook, Depson Fangblood then told the story of the masked man in a red cloak who showed up earlier that day, demanding to know who purchased the book written in Abyssal a couple days ago. Depson said he refused to give him the information until the man pulled out a dagger dripping with some sort of poison, and that's when he decided that a book sold for 12 gold pieces was not worth a potentially deadly conflict. The voiceless Ellie then sketched a picture of a mace with a human-like skull on top and indicated that it was a tattoo that they both saw on the back of the red-cloaked man's right hand. The group believed this to be the symbol of Orcus, the demon lord prince of the undead. As the four adventurers left the Fences Syndicate, they decided to head back to the front gates and question the guards about seeing a mysterious man wearing a mask and a red cloak enter the town. Who is the masked man in the red cloak? What is the mysterious demonomicon of Slamrock? And how much of a threat does it pose to Daggerford? The adventure is just beginning!